Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 put a lot of love and attention into helicopters for this release. Not only do you get the two helicopters that came with the 40th anniversary release, the Gimbal Cabri G2 and the Bell 407, but there's three new helicopters: the Airbus H125, the Robinson R66, the Ericsson S64F Aircrane, and the Magni Gyro. Now the Magni isn't exactly a helicopter, but it is a rotorcraft nonetheless. And all of those come with the standard edition. There aren't any helicopters for the deluxe edition, but if you get the premium deluxe edition, you also get the H225 and the Blackbird CH-47D Chinook. If you purchase the aviator edition, you also get the two local legend or famous flyer helicopters that you could get in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. And that's the Bell 47J Ranger and the Scout Wasp combo from Westland. Even though they did put a lot of attention into helicopters, everything's not perfect and there are still some bugs and issues. One of the major bugs is the ground effect on elevated pads around objects and trees. It's not exactly a ground effect bug. Ground effect works properly, and it's actually improved over 2020 on the airport tarmac in places where there's not elevated edges. But on elevated pads and edges, the ground effect is on-off with the center of the helicopter. Rather than coming on like it does gradually in the real thing, it happens all of a sudden and you get a massive torque increase and it vaults you and throws you in all sorts of different directions. It makes it really difficult to do pad landings. And what I've tended to do is just force it down because there's really no other way. And it launches you towards things and it's very unpredictable. There's a few other odd bugs, like in the replay here doing the flyby, you can see that the rotors weren't turning. But they had a coning effect, which is nice, but you don't see that coning effect typically when you're flying. Although I did encounter it once here, sitting on this barge, and it's coning like it's got more weight than it can actually lift. But then there's times when it all comes together and your jaw hits the floor, and it looks amazing, flies amazing, performs amazing. I'm getting much better performance in VR, higher settings with the same hardware that I had for 2020, and there's just times that it just looks so real. And the overall dynamics for helicopters are actually improved. They're improved for all aircraft. Ground handling is a little better, the interaction with the wheels and the surfaces is a little better, the little tiny things at the edge of the flight envelope, they're doing things a little bit better. The modeling and detail of the default aircraft is also much better than it was in the previous sim. I would say it's pushing or passing payware standards. I'll take the Sky Crane for a quick flight to showcase all of the detail and functionality. And this is a freeware add-on from Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 that I found works in 2024. It is the Seymour Inlet heli logging add-on. I'll put the link in the description. One of the things that I do love is the water effects for helicopters. They're really nice. They need a little bit of tweaking. There's no point in the center with the real thing because there's the body of the helicopter underneath it. It looks a little bit off. Maybe I'll report that as a bug. It shows up in the replay, which is cool. And so do the dust effects. It's nice having those little immersion adding features that just make you feel like it's there. Or when the aircraft was sitting on the barge, you could see the trees moving from the rotor wash in the main rotor and the tail rotor. I've never flown a real aircrane, but I've been around one in real life, and it's pretty close to the real thing. It looks really good. The sounds are really good, but they're a little bit quiet. Not the main rotor sounds, but the engine. It's such a large rotor that it really produces a lot more low frequency sound, so it's not loud like other helicopters. The tail rotor actually makes more noise and it kind of works properly in the sim, but the engines are louder than they are in the sim. One of the other things that Microsoft Flight Simulator devs have talked about is the opportunity to do missions in free flight. So right now I haven't been able to accomplish or get to any missions with the Aircrane in the career system, and the career system isn't working that great for helicopters right now. It's missing a few things. It's missing firefighting. You can't use all of the helicopters available, and it just is, it's a little lacking. So, and there's a lot of bugs with it. So as they fix some bugs, maybe I'll approach it more and see what can be done with it. But right now I tend to still do what I've always done, and that's role play and free flight. It would be great if we can add things to vertical reference or long line in free flight. That way I could do some of this heli logging pickup work and go back and forth and pick up some logs from the site and then take them down to the collection area. It was really nice to be able to lean my head over and look down through that window in VR. And the back seat is modeled. I don't know if you can fly the aircraft from that seat or just operate the crane, but it's nice having that third position. The replay still leaves a lot to be desired. Not everything works exactly, and you can notice the difference between the views that I have labeled as VR and the other cockpit views, and notice that the gauges don't match. You'll see that the torque input on the S64 here is wrong on the screen whenever it's in the other cockpit view that I recorded from the replay. This is one of those scenes where I just can't get over how real it looks. The new lighting engine just makes everything look great and so realistic. The detail on the Blackbird model is amazing. You can even see the little wire, the safety wire that goes through the cotter pin there on the window latch. It's just got detail everywhere you look. And for some reason, this pad here that I'm landing on, I don't know if it's the way the object was created by the scenery developer that made it, but it does not have the ground effect bug. This one is okay, and it works how an elevated pad or normal landing spot should work. It is awfully close to those trees, though. Made me a little nervous, but hey, it's just a sim, right? Aside from things missing like the blade coning, it's more of a wish list item, I think, but little things are happening correctly. Like when I set down here, the back left wheel touches down first, and then the right, and then the nose gear. And that's all correct due to the attitude of the helicopter for translating tendency. Little things are happening correctly. We'll close out here with my VR view of that landing. Thanks for watching, be safe, be kind, and I'll see you in the next video.